Hello everyone, and greetings from Allen, Texas, the headquarters of TalentSage, and welcome back to the Sage Skills Lab on YouTube. The Sage Skills Lab exists for one main reason: to turn insight into action. Every single video here gives you a science-backed skill and a practice, so you can start today, and it offers you a takeaway that will make you a sharper, stronger leader. So we hope that you join us and look at today's takeaway because it might be the most important thing that you actually hear this year. Today we're talking about radical self-awareness. It's your ability to pivot your behavior, to manage team energy, and to use 360 feedback to keep AI's fingers off your job. So why? Well, with AI in the mix, efficiency is now becoming a commodity. If our value as a leader is just about getting things done, organizing data, then our jobs are already gone. But we can help you and your team find, articulate, and highlight your value using radical self-awareness. After all, where AI can process logic and data, it cannot replicate the nuanced behavioral agility that we as people, discovering our self-awareness, can actually find in tools such as the 5-step profile and 360 feedback. Now, we've all seen and heard this in the news. We're told AI is coming for our jobs. But the truth is that most people are getting this wrong. AI is not coming for our jobs. It's actually coming for our tasks. And the scheduling, the data crunching, the status updates, those are already gone or they're on their way out. So what's left? The thing that no algorithm can touch. The messy, complex, deeply human work of leadership. Think about it. It's influence. It's judgment. The ability to read a room, to earn trust, and to make the call when data just isn't enough. In a world of perfect algorithms, your humanness, our quirks, our blind spots, and our natural style, they're actually our greatest returns on investment. But here's the catch. That edge only protects us if we understand it, and most leaders don't. Today, we're actually trying to help you fix that, and we're going to share with you some key insights around radical self-awareness. So radical self-awareness isn't just about knowing yourself. It's a strategic asset. It's the difference between how you think you show up and how others actually experience you. And it's built from these two data sources. The first is your internal map. It's your behavioral profile. We use the 5-step from TalentSage, and it's grounded in the Big 5 personality of science. It's one of the most rigorously validated frameworks in psychology, and it tells you who you actually are, your natural strengths, your default behaviors, and how you behave under pressure, even when you don't notice how you're working. Now, the second one is the 360. It's your external reality, and it's how other people experience us. It's actually how they're experiencing us when we lead. And these two together help you find that leadership gold. It's the gap between how you see yourself and how the world experiences you. And this gap is where AI simply cannot compete. It's also where you find your ability to pivot. And when you put these two together, you've got the foundations for building radical self-awareness. Now, it's not just the knowledge, it's actually what you do with it. So let me give you 3 reasons why a self-aware leader is actually the hardest person in any organization to replace, and why these 3 actually build directly on each other. The first is how you handle being wrong. When an AI agent gets something wrong, it's a technical failure, a hallucination, a data gap maybe. It has no response to that failure except being corrected by a human. But when we as leaders get something wrong, it's the perfect opportunity for us to actually recognize that we have a blind spot. It's not a failure. It's an opportunity to be vulnerable. And that radical self-awareness actually is an opportunity to say, I didn't see that, to share that humble admission. And your admission helps build a level of trust and a loyalty that a perfect machine can never replicate. Next, AI is optimized for the most likely path based on past data. It's perfectly consistent, whereas we, as humans, are perfectly inconsistent. If your 5-step profile were to show that you were high on openness, maybe that would be interpreted as you have a lack of focus on details. Where an AI might see this as an error, A human leader can actually recognize that this friction between the lack of openness and different perspectives is actually where true innovation might come from. And then here's the third and most powerful thing of all, and this is where it all comes together. AI can't transcend its programming, but we, as leaders with radical self-awareness, we can consciously choose a different behavior. This is called behavioral agility, and it is a superpower when you develop it. When you use a 360 tool to uncover a blind spot, you aren't just fixing a bug, you're actually evolving. The process of becoming a struggle, a realization, going through change, it's a narrative that inspires people. We don't follow AI because it's right. We follow leaders because they're human and because they grow, just like we do. So let me try and make this a little bit more real for you. Let's consider one of our TalentSage clients, a global services leader who faced a massive restructuring. The technical plan was perfect. The strategy was sound. But the executive team was tired. They were just exhausted. They'd been running on empty, and it really showed to everyone. And by using our diagnostics, they didn't just look at the skills. Each teammate looked at their behavioral patterns and how those patterns changed under pressure. So the result? Well, the strengths that made each leader exceptional in normal conditions, decisiveness, high standards, big picture vision, they were actually becoming their largest derailers in the crisis. The decisive leader was shutting down debate, the high standards leader was creating bottlenecks, the visionary was actually losing the team in the details, and by identifying these hidden dynamics using their personality profiles and their 360 feedback, they impacted others through their data and were able to change and move from crisis mode into strategic teamship, actually achieving a 98% engagement rate during a total organizational shift. Now think about that. Quite remarkable, simply by being radically self-aware and making that shift happen. So how can you do this? Well, we'll share the bigger picture in our case studies on TalentSage.com. But here's a way that you can actually practice this today, and it's called the 10% pivot. Start out by looking at your 360 feedback and find one area where your self-rating is actually higher than your peers' view of you in that particular skill. And if you don't have a 360, you've got to get one. It's the only way that you can understand how you lead is impacting others. And you can find one on TalentSage.com. Don't defend why it's different or why people don't understand you or see your skills in the way that you think they should. Instead, ask yourself, in what context does my natural talent actually feel like a bottleneck? How am I affecting my team? How is this holding them back? And use that 10% gap to reclaim your humanness. Be vulnerable, innovate, choose a different behavior. The way that you use this vulnerability and this particular gap is the difference between being a boss and being a leader that people want to follow. And it's also where your radical self-awareness can make the most difference between how you lead and how an AI just gives back instructions and data. And you can sit back and watch your team's reaction and their trust in you grow. And it's important to keep in mind that while AI is the engine, you and your humanness are the navigator. Use the data from TalentSage to understand your compass. Find your own way, your own unique way, to actually navigate through all of the changes that are happening now and lead people in a way that they can follow. Subscribe to our Sage Skills Lab for more ways to future-proof your career. And if you want to build your organization's radical self-awareness, head to TalentSage.com. The 5-step personality profile and the 360 reports will give you and your people the data you need to stop guessing and start performing. And if this video gives you one thing you're going to use this week, please share it with another leader who needs it. Thanks very much for listening, and remember, be human and lead better. See you next time.